I told Michael, like, I'm kind of nervous about them because it's a lot easier to fall asleep than this one. Yeah. So, I really appreciate that, Bethany, just what you're thinking about. I think it's so funny, the whole, restaurant scene, Lord, just kind of impressed on my heart, something I've been talking with a friend about, and it's that whole thing of generosity. I think I love that response of okay, Lord, here's what we're going to go do. And I think one of the things I was talking about, just as I was thinking through that with a friend, he just came back to me and just challenged me. He said, it's actually though, it starts with believing that the Lord is really, really generous with you. Because there's a mindset that, Sarah and I have been in that spot where we come into the restaurant and we sit down and we don't have a lot of money. So you know what I do when I pick up the menu? What do I look for? I find value menu, where is okay, first page, no, second page, no, we're getting I sit down and I find the back of the menu. Because and this friend just challenged me, he's like, hey, it's time to start ordering from the front. Because when you order from the front, it actually affects the waitress too. To believe that God's just so generous with me, and then that generosity is going to flow into their life as well. So it's a belief thing. It's a mindset that I am still trying to unknot. And so, because I think the thing is, and so just to see today is the thing that I have is I'm one day I'll be able to go to that part of the menu. We always have that one day it won't be like this. And this is I'm now coming to this place in my life where I realize I think you're we're gonna turn the corner, right? One day our schedule's not gonna be this busy. Right? One day we're in a couple months, then this thing's gonna change, and then we're gonna turn it, and then in a couple months I'll probably this job will come through, and then this thing will change, and we'll stop paying for this thing, and then we'll have one day that thing's gonna happen. And I'm gonna tell you that's a theology that is a false theology that has found its way into our hearts, into the church, and listen, it is not from God's word. It's not. I'm going to actually show you where it's from, because that's what it's trying to address in us. This thing that slipped into our hearts that one day it goes to the place where it's actually developed. There's a theology, and it's called escapism theology. The whole system that's built around this, and it's this concept that one day we're going to turn the corner from all of this mess that we call earth, and we're going to go home to heaven. And once we turn that corner, and all of us are just okay, no more tears and no more pain, and I'm going to get around that corner, and there's this truth to it that then bleeds into the way. Now here's the thing: here's the place I see it. It bled into a lot of our songs over the years. Okay, it's bled into it. And if you're not paying attention, and we're gonna play a little game today. Okay, a little game. Okay, name a Christian song about escaping Earth so we can get to heaven and experience God's true goodness. Now I was praying that Michael wouldn't play any of these songs, okay? So, that would have been really, really awkward if we got to that. And now, here's the thing, here we go. Family Feud style. The top 6 answers are coming up on the board. Here is, see it, so you're thinking about it, what are some of these songs that you remember? I picked some good old days songs, okay? So, back in the day, here's top 6 answers on the board. Here's the first one. Number 6. I wish we'd all been ready. Remember this one? You got it? Got this one? Okay, here it is. Larry Norman. There's no time to change your mind. How could you have been so blind? The Father spoke, the demons dined. The Son is calm, and you've been left behind. There we go. Like, right. Wow, that's a little dark, right? Right? You're like kind of like feeling, but it's like, hey, you're not ready. The corner's gonna come, and we're gonna turn. So sad. Too bad. Too late. Do it. Answer number 5. Here's no tears in heaven. You know this one? No, this is some morning yonder will cease to ponder over things this life has brought to view, and all will finally be clear, and loved ones will be dear in heaven, where we'll all be made new. Things are not going to be clear, and your loved ones aren't going to be dear until you get to heaven. Okay? But listen, we sing this, and it starts to we find it here. Let's keep moving here. Number 4, sweet by and by. Yeah, there's a land that's fairer than day, and by faith we can see it afar. For the Father waits over the way to prepare us a dwelling place there. Where's the Father?
Here.
He's over there, and one day we'll get close to him. Number three. This world is not my home. Okay, Albert E. Brumley. This world is not my home. I'm just a passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. Where are their treasures again?
Way beyond.
Well, not here. That's for sure. You know, I'm laying them up in heaven, and I'm the one. You got your riches now. Let me just tell you where my riches are. Theology, right? Okay, here we go. Where are we at? Number two. Here it is. When the roll is called up yonder, let us labor for the Master from dawn till setting sun. Let us talk of all his wondrous love and care, and then, when this life is over and our work on earth is done, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. See? Okay? It's all there. You know? It's just work here. We're just workers. You slave away. You do what you need to do, and then when we get there, number 1. No. Don't show it. Anyone want to guess?
I'll fly away.
Oh,
that's what I said.
I can only imagine how they're crazy. These are good. Number 1, when we all get to heaven. This is the one while we walk this pilgrim pathway and the dark clouds spread the sky, but when these days are over, not a shadow, not a sigh. And so it's this whole idea. And it's easy. I get why it so resonates a lot of times with my heart, because I'm kind of like, this is hard here, right? And so I got to kind of come up with like a way to process this. And if I can, and then we just do it in our lives. We do it with our calendars. We do it with our we do it with everything. It's like, okay, we're going to turn the corner and we're going to find this place, and this idea that, okay, this world is terrible. I mean, Adam and Eve screwed everything up, and now everything's the worst. But one day Jesus comes back, and I'm going to escape this hell, and in heaven, everything's right. And until then, I'm just going to suck it up, and I'm going to put my big boy pants on, and I'm just going to press on through this. And that's not Jesus' invitation. That's not his redemption. That's not what he's drawing us into. He's actually in this place where he's saying the kingdom has been fully revealed in Jesus, and you and I belong to it now. That's the message of Colossians. We're not looking for some experience to come around the corner. He's like, no. Now, here, present. It's available. We have all of it right here, right now. Now, you've got your Bible, Colossians chapter 2. Grab your phone. Michael and we will be walking through these first kind of 1.5 chapters, and understand what's going to happen is there's like a structure here. It's actually very similar to some of the other letters that are here in the Bible. The structure is first half deals with believing. You got to believe the right thing. You have to understand some things and believe some things, because the second half of the book is going to be about living this way. The problem is we flip the book. We just love to jump to the second. So Colossians is 4 chapters. First 2, You have to understand who Jesus is. You have to believe this. You have to recognize this and embrace this reality about him, because then we get to chapter 3 and 4, and we're going to see this is how we live. And in theological terms, in biblical terms, we have to understand, it's an orthodoxy. It's believing rightly leads to living rightly. And what's happening in our hearts, what's coming in and creating this escapism, is we flip it. If I do if I just behave, if I work hard enough, then I can experience all these. I'm going to turn the corner, and then I'm going to get to experience all those things that Jesus promises to me. And he's like, no, you have all those things in Jesus already. And if you actually realize that and just start to live in that, all the other stuff follows. It's going to come from. So that order is really, really good. So don't get this backward. Now, at the same time, you probably didn't come for this, but we're going to do this. There's a philosophy that's behind this. This is from this guy named Plato. Okay, so Plato, some people have read it. Most of us don't care to. It's okay. You're not missing anything. But Plato's thought is very, very influential here and here. In the book of Colossians, it's behind a lot of what's happening in this city as this letter is being written. And it's still, listen, those songs that we just went through, okay, it was funny, we laughed, that's Plato's thought bleeding into the church. This is Greek ideas of, okay, hey, this is, there's this world that's real, but it's not here. This is the fake one. And so this is actually what Plato, he has this, it's called the theory of forms, if you want to look it up. There's actually really, really great little YouTube videos you can watch that'll give it to you in 5 minutes. But here's the summary before you fall asleep in these comfortable chairs. Plato said that the world is not the real world. This world right here is a shadow. But somewhere else, somewhere beyond space and time, there's this perfect world. And in that world, there's the same stuff that's here, but it's perfect. So there's another world out there, and it has perfect chairs, and it has perfect cars, and it has perfect street. It has all the stuff we see here. It's nice, but it's not perfect. And then there's this other world that's perfect. So this world, fake, shadow, temporary, and he actually develops this whole story out of this. It's called The Cave. And so he develops a story to kind of picture what it's like. Is he sees us, Plato sees us as these prisoners chained into a cave, and we're chained to face the back wall of the cave. Now, outside the cave, these lights shining in from outside, and what we see is the shadows dancing across the back wall of the cave. And that's we got to get this idea of what the world's like, but through these shadows. And so you see a horse walking by outside, but you just see what the shadow casts, and you get your whole concept from that. And in the same way, we have our whole concept of the world from this, but eventually there's a prisoner who gets freed and gets outside the cave. And he sees what a real horse actually looks like. And it's very, very different from the shadow, what we thought it was. And he sees a real tree and a real river, and he sees all the real things. Well, he comes back into the cave and he says, guys, it's nothing like what you thought it was. And all the people that are still there, prison, that are chained up, they're like, no, there's no way it's like that. And what in Plato's thought is, the only way to be able to reach this place of enlightenment is you have to believe what these other people are saying. And so there's these enlightened people, and then there's these prisoners. And this comes into Colossians. It comes into these churches in this idea of hey, we have to get enlightened. We have to really see what's actually going on out there in the real world. And so the letter opens up with his prayer that you would be filled with the knowledge of God's will, with all wisdom and understanding. So if you're Plato, if you're Gnostic, this is where the word is going to be, they're come to be known as Gnostics. These means knowledge, this oversimplified idea of this is that the world is bad, earth is bad, body bad, creation's the problem, salvation is escape. And so he's like, hey, if you have a knowledge, in the letter here, Paul's writing, He's like, no, there is a knowledge, there is a wisdom, there is an understanding, but he flips it. And he says it doesn't make you aware of some escape to this other real world. It actually is this thing you're experiencing right now. We're in this kingdom. Stop dreaming about escaping and start realizing that the kingdom is already breaking into this world. Okay, that was a lot. Take a deep breath. Okay. So God's not abandoning his creation. I don't know if you've heard, like, a lot of this like leads into eschatology, end times kind of thinking too. What's going to happen to Earth? What's going to happen? What is a lot of like the historical end times would say? This Earth's going to burn up. It's going to be destroyed. That's not actually what it says. What does it say? It's redeemed. He's redeeming this thing. Oh. Like, okay, so if he's redeeming this thing, yeah. No, this is what is in creation? At the end of creation, what does he say about his creation?
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. Did he change his mind? Is it now not good? No, it's still good. That's Plato coming in and informing how we view this stuff. And so we're like, okay, hold on. There's a lot more that's happening here, and this letter is coming to these believers who are starting to get trapped in this thinking. This world is not a shadow that we're trying to escape. This is God's arena of redemption. The real action is not just in heaven; it's here. That's why when Jesus prays, he says, "On earth as it is in heaven." He loves them both. He wants both. It's good. Hey, we're experiencing the same things both. So, verse 16. So don't let anyone condemn you for what you eat or drink, or for not celebrating certain holy days or new moon ceremonies or Sabbath. So what's happening here is that whole Plato thought, that whole escapism theology, all of that concept, okay, is starting to create this religious system and restrictions and rules, and they made up all these rules because the world is bad, your body, it's bad, creation bad, heaven good, heaven's real, keep these, so we got to stay connected to that, we got to get to that heaven thing, and here's the thing, Christians, we love making rules, don't we?
Exactly.
Love it. I love rules. I tell me what's good. Tell me what's bad. Give me the rule. I'll tell you. I went to a basketball game the other night when one of my nephews was playing. I will tell every one of those refs the rules the whole time. I know the rules. I don't know what game they're watching, but they're not following the rules the way that I know the rules. And so here are the rules. And so I get really, really upset because I like rules. And don't just give me a list of 10 commandments. I would like even a lot more. Right? And what he's saying here is, hey, don't let anyone guilt you back into a whole rule-keeping religion. You don't answer to a food list. You don't answer to calendar days or spiritual check boxes. About 20 years ago, I had a friend of mine. He came and he was like, hey, we're doing a men's retreat. We're going to go on this thing. And it sounded amazing. It sounded awesome. I was like, dude, send me the web link. I'll register. I'd love to go with you guys. Sends me the web link. I go, you fill out the basic information. But then all of a sudden there's like here's our policies. Here's our kind of the rules for the camp. I open it up. It is like 15 pages of rules. Hey, like scrolling. It's the Apple agreement that I don't read, right? And I'm like, what am I don't know what this is, because I don't know. So I start reading through it, and it's like no smoking, no tobacco, no we didn't have vaping back then, so I guess that could have gotten by. But there was every form of tobacco was listed, right? And again, I grew up in fundamentalism, so I'd already keeping all these rules anyway. So right, but it was just it was listing all of this out, and I'm like, why? Why do we do that? I'm genuinely asking, we can be a little interactive here. Like, why do we do that as Christians?
Because if we can keep those, then we can have our own righteousness. I'm better than you.
Right.
I-
Because I kept the rules. Yeah. And at the same time, like, I can kind of like know that I am righteous.
Yeah.
I kind of want to like, yeah, like,
I'm good.
I'm good, everything we're good. Or like, I know when I'm not good, and I know, and I can get back to good.
Yeah.
Like, why, like, we love this, like, this really resonates with us, and this is where this thought starts to bleed in. Like, why do we love rules? Why? Maybe this is just for yourself. You don't have to even answer. Why do you love rules? What is it that hits inside of us? That like, that's not, Jesus is not calling you to that. What like, and just exploring that and like recognizing that the old religious system, don't submit yourself to it again. Verse 17. For these rules are only shadows of the reality yet to come. And Christ himself is that reality. You catch it? This is why that understanding, that whole like the cave thing and Plato, because that's in there, and they're like, well, the real thing, if you follow the rules, then you'll get to the real thing. If you want to talk about shadows, you know what shadows? The rules are the shadows. The thing that you're actually trying to jump through the hoops for, that's actually what's fake. The real thing is Jesus, verse 18. Don't let anyone condemn you by insisting on pious self-denial or the worship of angels, saying they have visions about these things. Their sinful minds have made them proud. And they are not connected to Christ, the head of the body. For he holds the whole body together with its joints and ligaments, and it grows as God nourishes it. I love how Francois Dutoit, who paraphrases this, a religious mentality of voluntary humility and obsession with pious observances will bring you no further reward. Do not let anyone who tries to act as your umpire about your devotion insist on their own opinion. They confine your mind to sensational and spooky. These so-called visions are just hot air. It's completely out of rhythm with Jesus, who you are directly connected to. He is like a choir director. He's drawing out the music in everyone, like a tapestry of art, playing different notes in a harmony to reveal the fullness of divine inspiration. Don't let anyone condemn you. See, that's what I think what we do. That's what we do. We have the rules because it allows us to say who's condemned and who's not condemned. It's control. We create our little religious systems. And someone asks us, why do we have those rules and why do we like them? Well, you just don't understand because you're living in the shadows. You're just not. Speaking of holy days, anyone know what holy day started this week?
Lent.
Wednesday. Lent. Okay, and what's the idea of Lent? It's a holy day.
Give things up.
Give things up. We're going to sacrifice things. What for?
Longing.
Okay, longing. We're going to create some longing in preparation
For Easter.
for Easter. We're coming to Easter, so we're going to.
We're sacrificing
And- yeah.
because he sacrificed.
It's good. And what holy day comes before Lent? It is Fat Tuesday.
Passover.
Fat Tuesday.
And the French term is Mardi Gras. Listen, it's a holy day. What is Mardi Gras? What is Fat Tuesday?
It's the party before.
It's the party before.
The Last Supper.
Listen, this is a church. We should. Okay. So what do you do at Lent? Lent, you don't eat meat. typically a lot of like rich foods, like butter. These things are to be sacrificed. For hundreds of years they've done this, okay? And so if you don't have refrigeration, okay? Hundreds of years ago you don't have this, and you're going to sacrifice these things. What do you do the Tuesday before you get to that holy day?
You eat it all.
You eat it all. This is where Fat Tuesday comes from, and then it becomes Mardi Gras. And so there's this whole thing of like, don't waste that food. We're going to enjoy a really, really big meal before we go into the season of Lent. And so there was this whole communal thing where they would come together and they would enjoy this. And this whole time we've been like, Mardi Gras for the worst. Bees, drinking. And I can't believe all that stuff. Listen, it's like, it's actually connected to something that's real, but it's so easy to condemn, right? You don't have any context for it, and then you come in, like, what does God think about Lent? What does God think about Mardi Gras?
Moses didn't say.
We don't have. We could have like 2 more rules about it. It'd be fantastic, right? That's what we. But like, this is where we were with some friends last night, and we were asking some questions, and one of the guys was like, "Well, I mean, Jesus is in you. Why don't you go ask him?" I was like, "That's annoying." Right? Like we want what we want. I guess like just tell me what I'm supposed to like and not like, and if I can just like tell like, okay, these Mardi Gras people are bad, and I don't know about the Lent thing, but like that's it. When someone tries to police your devotion with a bunch of hyper spiritual talk or even their own personal religious rules, don't buy it.
That's good.
We are not plugged into a system. We are connected to Christ. He's the head. He's the conductor. He's orchestrating the music from our lives and weaving it together. Verse 20, you have died with Christ. He has set you free from the spiritual powers of this world. Why do you keep on following the rules of this world, such as don't handle, don't taste, don't touch? It's kind of convicting for me. I said this a ton to my kids when they were little. Don't touch that. Oh, don't lick that. Oh, don't put that in your mouth. Gross, right? It's the same kind of thing. It's this concept of like, but here's what's happening here. It's legalism. Don't do that. Don't handle it. Don't taste that. Don't touch. We've all heard the phrase, Christians are known more for what they're against than what they're for. Am I known more for what I'm against than what I'm for? So easy for that to become my definition of following Jesus. And I find it really interesting that we as evangelicals, if you listen to so much of our, what I would call is like our presentation of the gospel, when we present the gospel, we present it really, really clearly that it's the power of God to save you, and you cannot earn this yourself. But once you get saved, we give you all the rules and regulations on how to stay saved. Woo! And this is something I'm still trying to like unknot for me. I mean, 20 years ago, I was actually part of a team. We wrote a new believer Bible study for evangelistic crusades. Thousands of people were being saved and would come, and we would hand them this little kit with a Bible and a little study that we had written, and went back and looked at the study. It's a list of 5 things you need to do and 5 things you need to stop doing. Okay. Now that you've come forward and God saved you, go to church and read your Bible and pray and repent and for sure tithe. And don't keep sinning, and don't be proud, and don't be lazy, and don't be religious, and don't forget to tithe. Right?
Say it again.
But it's like, right, like you go back and you're like, what happened to the whole like, why do we go back to that thing? Like it's so easy for us to fall, and why? I actually just like put it down for myself. Why do I keep following the rules of this world? Here's what it is for me. 6 reasons. It makes faith feel measurable. The rules give me something concrete to track, and instead of wrestling with actual spiritual growth, I can point to behaviors and say, I'm doing well. Number two, it creates a sense of control. Grace is way too unpredictable, but rules make it feel much more manageable. If I just follow the checklist, I feel much more secure. Number three, it provides me an identity. It helps to find who I am. I'm the kind of Christian who doesn't do that. And that identity can feel so much solid and reassuring. Number four, it makes comparison easy. I get visible standards. It makes it easier for me to measure myself against others, often in a way that makes me feel successful. 5, it protects against fear of failure. If I can say I kept the rules, I don't feel as much shame, even if my heart hasn't actually changed.
Wow.
Number 6, it feels spiritually productive. Following the rules gives me a sense of progress, like I'm doing something for God, even when the deeper work of redemption is less visible. When we live like that, notice, you see in the verses, verse 20 and 21, you have died with Christ. He has set you free. Listen, this is what you're missing out on. The rules and the right, you're missing out on freedom. You're not experiencing this freedom that Jesus has. The problem with legalism is it's powerless Christianity. It sees God as some distant, severe, joyless, uninvolved being, and he's not really interested in anything more than just giving me my free ticket to heaven. The problem with all the rules and regulations is that I have to sustain it. The power of Christian living is up to me. He's saying, Christ died, you with him, you are free. Verse 22, all those rules are mere human teachings about things that deteriorate as we use them. These rules may seem wise because they require strong devotion and pious self-denial and severe bodily discipline, but they provide no help in conquering a person's evil desires. No help. It doesn't actually deal with the thing underneath. And I think that's actually the thing that happened with Mardi Gras. You made rules, get rid of the meat, get rid of the butter, go eat it, you go enjoy it. But it didn't actually deal with the thing underneath, desire. And now what we see desire. And this is what so many times happens with us, is this Plato thought in our minds of eventually I'm going to get around the corner, then eventually I'm going to get to the real thing, but if I work hard enough here, and if I stare long enough at it, and if I focus on it enough, and if I follow enough of the rules, then I can get there. It starts out as a really, really good thing, but it never actually deals with the real thing. Religiosity is like eating a giant bowl of sugary cereal. Man, pour that whole box right into the bowl. Lots of milk, tons of marshmallows.
Milk goes first.
Milk goes first?
No.
That's really weird.
Communist.
You do you, okay? Here's the thing is, I can tell you, it doesn't matter what order you're doing it, an hour later, you're hungry. It doesn't actually deal with the desire. Right? And this is where, how many times have we experienced this where I'm like, I want this to change in me. And I have all these ideas of, okay, maybe I do this, okay, there's 3 things, and I'm going to set some goals, and I'm going to work really, really hard at this thing. And it doesn't actually get underneath to desire. How many of us have something in our lives we want to change? And maybe this is a moment, I don't know, sometimes it helps for me just to close my eyes, and maybe for you it's just to close your eyes and I just want to walk through this, to think through this. This is what I believe God is like trying to reveal in our hearts. Like for you, maybe to close your eyes into those moments, to just think through what's that thing that comes to the front of your mind that you wish would change. What's the thing that you want to see different in your life? And maybe it's a shame, or maybe it's something that you're so scared of, or it's discouragement, or it's anxiety. It's a situation, a circumstance that doesn't seem to change, or a relationship that's just not going the way you want it to go. Maybe it's a choice that you keep making that's just not good for you, but you just can't say no to it. You keep doing it. And you've told yourself, like, I don't like this part of me. And maybe you thought, that's just not going to change here. But one day, when I'm in heaven, it'll change then. But right here, it's just, maybe you thought it's hopeless. And that Jesus would just speak over you even now. No, I want to change that now. You don't have to live in shadows for the rest of your life. The kingdom is here, and freedom is here. So how does that change? See, the legalistic way of dealing with this is to come up with a new set of rules for your life. And if I put these rules in my life, and if I discipline myself more, if I try harder, and if I read that book, and if someone can come and hold me accountable, and I just starve myself a little bit longer, they have no help in conquering the desire. So how do I change? So remember, the first half of the letter is about what? It's about what we believe. And it starts with believing something about ourselves and something about Jesus. And last week as Michael was going through this, I heard him again and again. Jesus is supreme. He created me, in him I exist, and he's reconciling me to himself, and I'm not living in the shadow. I believe that this is the thing that he longed for changing, that it's believing I'm loved, and he's pleased with me, and I have the power to live in freedom from this, and I am who he says I am. And my question is, do you believe it? Do you believe it for that situation, that circumstance that you long for change, even if it doesn't change, is he still pleased with you? Even if you don't keep all the rules, does he still love you? And he speaks this over each one of us today. This is my child, in whom I'm well pleased. Before that ever changes. Here's the point. Freedom doesn't come from keeping the rules better. Freedom comes from a deeper embrace of your identity in Jesus. So I just want to read this over us as we come to the end here. Don't let anyone guilt you back into a rule-keeping religion. We don't answer to food lists or calendar days or spiritual check boxes. If we want to talk about shadows, all those rules are shadows, because Jesus is the real thing. So anytime someone tries to police your devotion with stories or hyper-spiritual talk or even personal religious rules, don't buy into it. You are not plugged into a religious system. You are connected to Christ. He is your head, he is your conductor, and he is orchestrating the music of your life and weaving it together into something that is beautiful and alive. And since you died with Jesus, that old rule book doesn't own you anymore. Why keep living like it's don't touch it, don't taste it, or stay away from them? All those religious rules have no permanent value. In any case, they ultimately leave you empty. They have no power to free you. So quit ordering from the man-made menus. Jesus is the source. Live free in him, because only he can grow you into who you've always been meant to be.